Hey there, Cinemaster fans! Hope you're ready for some movie magic? Let's dive right in. The story of the series begins in America in 2012. We see a little girl named Charlie who was watching cartoons, and her brother, named Danny, was playing with their mother. The mother was talking to someone on the mobile phone. Suddenly, the father, whose name is Benjamin, enters the house. He was anxious and scared and told his wife, "There's no time left, fill the water tanks immediately." The mother asks him what's going on, and here it becomes clear they are talking about a disaster that is about to happen, but we still don't know what it is. In another scene, we see two people driving a car or walking on the highway. One of them is filming Ben's brother, whose name is Miles, and the other is his friend, Monroe. At the same time, Benjamin calls Miles and asks him where he is. Miles tells him they are heading home. They just finished a task, and we know they are soldiers. Benjamin tells him it's going to cut off and never come back again forever. Suddenly, while they are talking, Benjamin's mobile shuts down, and Monroe's phone also shuts down. The electricity starts going out and coming back. Benjamin checks his personal laptop, and he is downloading a file. At the last moment, the file finishes downloading onto a flash drive. Benjamin takes the flash drive and puts it inside a pendant. As for Miles and his friend, they get out of the car after the electricity goes out in the street completely. Airplanes start crashing and falling to the ground. Power transformers explode, and we see the Earth from space as it starts to become dark and completely disappears. 15 years pass after these events. All electronic and electrical devices are out of order and completely useless. Car and airplane engines have lost all power. These events caused huge material losses. People started getting sick, and there was no medicine. If there was a fire, they couldn't put it out because fire trucks were gone. The government fell, and gangs and militias formed. Most people left the cities and migrated to rural areas and villages to survive. In this scene, we see people living in the village and starting to adapt to the situation. Now we meet Erin, the teacher, who teaches the village children. Then we see Charlie and her brother Danny, who have grown up and are out hunting in the forest to find something to eat. While walking, they see an old car. Charlie goes in to explore, and Danny follows her. She finds an abandoned fridge, and when she opens it, she finds things that remind her of when she was a child, and they had electricity. But there was dust, and Danny starts choking because he suffers from asthma attacks. Charlie cares for him a lot, so she helps him, and they leave. The next morning, a group of armed men enter their village. They have the Monroe Gang symbol stamped on their hands. We learn that they collect a tax from every village in the form of agricultural crops. Benjamin sees them coming into the village and senses something is going to happen. He gives his pendant to Erin and asks him to keep it safe. After that, Benjamin goes to meet them. One of them tells him they are looking for someone named Miles. Benjamin tells them he doesn't know where he is and hasn't seen him in years. They tell him that Commander Monroe ordered them to take Benjamin instead. Benjamin agrees to go with them, but asks for a minute to say goodbye to his family. Suddenly, Charlie starts screaming and refuses to let him go with them. Suddenly, Danny appears holding a bow and arrows, threatening to kill them if they take his father. One of the village men raises his weapon at them, but the gang attacks the village. They shoot Benjamin, causing chaos everywhere. During the chaos, they take Danny as a hostage and leave. Charlie comes and finds her father lying on the ground, bleeding and taking his last breaths. He tells her the gang kidnapped Danny, and the only one who can help them save him is their uncle Miles, who is in Chicago. Then he dies. Charlie prepares herself to save her brother. Maggie and Erin decide to help her, and they set out together. At night, they camp together. The next morning, Charlie explores the area and suddenly sees a strange man named Nate standing by the river. Nate asks her name and where she's going. She tells him it's none of his business and leaves. She returns to Erin and Maggie, and they continue on their way. On the way, they see an abandoned plane and decide to rest inside. Meanwhile, Danny manages to unlock his handcuffs, hits the guard, and escapes. That night, Erin and his group are sleeping when a group of armed men attacks them, trying to kill them. But Maggie has water bottles filled with poison and gives them to the attackers to drink. As soon as they drink, they get poisoned. One of them attacks Charlie, but she manages to overcome him and stab him. Then Nate appears and asks to join them in exchange for helping them. They agree. Meanwhile, Danny is running away but has an asthma attack, chokes, and falls to the ground. Charlie and her group arrive in Chicago and enter a random bar. Charlie asks the bartender about Miles. He says he doesn't know him. She tells him that if he sees him, tell him his brother is dead and the gangs killed him. When Miles hears this, he is shocked and asks her who she is. She tells him she is Charlie, Benjamin's daughter. He asks her to come with him, and she realizes this is her uncle Miles. Meanwhile, Danny wakes up to find himself with a doctor who points a gun at him. He tells her everything, and she gives him medicine for his asthma. Charlie asks Miles why Monroe is looking for him. He tells her Monroe believes he and her father know a big secret about the cause of the blackout, or how to restore power to the world. If Monroe gets the power, he will take over airplane and tank factories and control the country. She asks him what they will do and how they will get Danny back. He says they took Danny as bait. If he goes to save Danny, they'll catch him, so he can't help her. Charlie starts crying and tells him she lost her mother and father and doesn't want to lose Danny too. She leaves, telling the group to go because no one can help them. Miles follows her. Martin attacks Miles and tries to hit him, but Miles raises his hand and reveals the Monroe mark on his hand, showing he is a spy. Martin immediately escapes. Miles tells them they need to leave because Monroe's men will attack the bar within 3 hours. At that moment, Monroe's men arrive, and suddenly Miles appears in front of them, drawing his sword. Monroe's men attack him, but he manages to overcome them. Now he sees Aaron, Charlie, and Maggie with him, and they're helping, so they were fighting alongside him. At night, he sees Charlie tending to Miles's wounds. At this point, Miles decides to help them and go with them. Here, he remembers that after he ended the call with Benjamin, he and his friend returned to his unit. A week after the world's power outage, we see Benjamin's wife preparing things and clothes to move to the village. Now that we know what happened in the past, let's return to the present. We see Miles searching for a girl named Nora inside the bar. Suddenly, a group from Monroe's gang attacks him and threatens to kill Charlie and her companions. So Miles surrenders and goes with them. On the way, Miles attacks them, grabs the group's leader, and asks about Nora. He tells him that the killer gangs captured her and most likely put her in a camp south of this city. The next day, we see Monroe's group walking, and Danny is with them. Suddenly, they stop, ambush, and kill his friend because he killed a deer. At night, Miles decides to leave Charlie and her group and go look for Nora. Charlie objects to the plan, but he doesn't listen to her and leaves. The next morning, Maggie and Aaron wake up and don't find Charlie. She had left them a note saying, "I decided to go with Miles and help him. I shouldn't leave the group." They sit together. Aaron shows her the pendant Benjamin gave him and asks him to give it to someone named Grace. We learn that Grace is the same doctor who saved Danny. We see her searching for the computer, and it's clear she has a power source, but the source she has is unknown. Maggie tells Aaron, "Let's start looking for Grace," and they actually start searching. Now we see Charlie and Miles in the forest. Suddenly, they see a group of people working as slaves under Monroe's authority, dragging a helicopter and trying to get it to the hill before sunset. Suddenly, they see Nora being dragged with them. At night, we see Miles managing to help Nora escape from Monroe's camp. The next morning, we see Nora trying to build a weapon to protect themselves. After she finishes, they agree on a plan to free the enslaved people. They start executing the plan. Charlie is the one who steps forward, goes, and kills their leader, causing chaos in the place. Miles and Nora help her, and they manage to kill everyone there and free the people. In this scene, we see Rachel alive, but she is being held by Monroe's gang. Suddenly, someone attacks her and tells her, "Your son is in our custody. Either you tell us everything about Benjamin, or we'll kill him." Now we see Nora and Charlie being taken to the rebels' secret camp. There, they see many wounded and injured people inside the camp due to an attack by Monroe's gang. Now we see one of the rebels who was captured by Monroe's men. Officer Shandy interrogates him, and he confesses the camp's location, guides them to the place, and is killed afterward. Meanwhile, Aaron and Maggie manage to reach Grace's house. They enter because the door was open, but they don't find anyone at home, so they go upstairs. Aaron sees electronic discs or CPU units belonging to a computer. Meanwhile, Miles, Charlie, and Nora want to leave the camp because they realize the captured rebels will betray them. Suddenly, Monroe's gangs attack the place and start shooting. The people inside the camp begin to defend themselves. One of them goes up to the roof and starts shooting at them. Monroe's gangs capture them and save them, then declare that Miles is the second in command and Monroe's right-hand man. Everyone is shocked. Miles attacks the man, beats him, and says, "I was with them, but I left them more than 3 years ago." Afterward, they come to an agreement and release the leader. Meanwhile, Miles is captured, taken with them, and while on the road, landmines explode beneath them. Charlie and Nora appear, attack the soldiers, kill them, and free Miles. At this time, Maggie and Aaron are still near Dr. Grace's house. Suddenly, Charlie, Miles, and Nora arrive. Charlie hugs Maggie. A very strong storm occurs. Monroe's gang, with Danny, run and enter an abandoned warehouse to take shelter from the storm. Danny takes advantage of the opportunity and escapes through the window, but the leader sees him and captures him. Now we see Maggie telling Miles her story. She says, "I came to America for work and left my 3 children in another country. Suddenly the incident happened, and I couldn't return to them. For years, I didn't know anything about them, and maybe they died. Years passed, and one time I tried to end my life and drank poison, but your brother Benjamin found me and saved me. I went with him to the village, and after that, as they continue their journey, a pack of dogs attacks them. So they run and enter a restaurant, but they lose Maggie. Later, they see someone stabbing her. Charlie tries to bandage her wounds and help her, but suddenly someone attacks her and drags her upstairs. Miles and Nate keep searching for her. Miles manages to kill the man and save Charlie, so they return to the restaurant. Maggie is taking her last breaths because she lost a lot of blood, and unfortunately, she dies. In this scene, we see Rachel, who left her family and went to Miles. She told him, "I came as you asked, but promise me you'll let me see my children." Here, we learn that Miles is one of the suspects in the country's chaos. We see Nora entering someone's office and asking about Joe Biden. This person takes her to the warehouse, and there, he threatens to kill her. She sees the seal on his back, which is the United States flag. They agree together to blow up Monroe's train, which is scheduled to depart the next morning. Charlie is wandering near the train area and meets Major Neville, who killed her father, but she doesn't know him. He leaves her and walks away. Charlie follows him. Neville senses her and quickly catches her. Miles appears, helps her, and they start talking. Neville asks Miles why he withdrew from them and then threatens to kill Danny. Suddenly, Neville's men arrive, so Miles escapes immediately. Now we see them gathered, Nate is imprisoned, and Charlie says, "If you know anything about my brother, tell me." Nate says, "I know, but I can't help you," and he escapes from them. Meanwhile, Nora fills the train with explosives because she thinks they will save Danny before it departs. Nate informs Major Neville about the plan, so they change the departure time and leave. And now we move on to Nora, who, when she saw them, tried to stop the train to save Danny. But the person with her stopped her and stabbed her with a knife. When Charlie and Miles arrive, she tells them what happened. Here, Charlie and Miles chase after the train and get on it. Miles starts looking for a bomb, and Charlie looks for Danny, and indeed she finds him. When Danny sees her, he attacks Major Neville, but he can't defeat him. Charlie quickly intervenes to help her brother, but she also can't. And then Nate comes, opens the train door, and throws her out. Miles sees her and immediately throws himself after her. In this scene, we learn that Nate is Major Neville's son. Now we see Danny meeting his mother and hugging her. After that, we see Charlie and her group walking down the road, and suddenly they see a child lying on the ground. They go to him, thinking something happened to him, but it turns out to be a trap, and a group of young boys attack them. When they get to know them, they learn that these boys live in this abandoned building after gangs killed all their families and took their older brother, whose name is Peter, because of their loyalty to the United States. They decide to help them and rescue Peter. Meanwhile, Rachel tries to convince a man named Brad to confess where the pendant is hidden. We learn that there are 10 pendants like the one Benjamin gave Aaron, and if Monroe gathers them, he will get the largest possible amount of energy. At this time, Charlie is pretending to join Monroe's gang to save Peter, but those there discover she is lying, so they tie her up and brand her hand with Monroe's mark. Then we go back 15 years in time, after the electricity outage, and we see two young girls scared and sleeping under the bed because someone is looking for them. We learn that it's Nora and her sisters. Now we return to the present, where Monroe's gangs have taken Nora's younger sister and are threatening Nora, saying if she doesn't hand over the pendant Aaron has, they will kill her sister. Nora and her group make a clever plan, blow up the place, and finally trick them, steal the pendant, and give it to General Monroe. The pendant then reaches Rachel, and the general asks her to start generating energy. In this scene, we see Dr. Grace following the situation and discovering that Benjamin's pendant has moved from one state to another. We then see Miles and his group arriving in California. Charlie is injured, so Miles goes to an old friend, and they enter the house to rest. But Miles has to leave them and go out, leaving them sleeping. Suddenly, Major Neville and his army attack because Miles's friend reported them. They are captured, and Major Neville injects Charlie with a sedative and throws her into solitary confinement, where she suddenly sees her mother sitting there. The mother approaches Charlie and tries to hug her, but Charlie refuses. Here, Miles learns what happened, so he goes to Major Neville's house and threatens to kill his wife, saying, "My friends in exchange for your wife." Neville agrees and releases Aaron and Nora. Miles asks for Charlie and Danny, but Neville says he doesn't have them. They've been moved to the power plant north of the city where Monroe is. At this time, Rachel reunites with her two children. Monroe enters and tells them that there are many things about their mother they don't know, starting with this amplifier that works with the pendant to generate energy. We see Rachel putting the pendant into the amplifier, and it starts transmitting energy, lighting up the lamp. Meanwhile, Danny and Charlie manage to escape from prison and climb to the roof, but suddenly, a soldier sees them and shoots at them. Charlie and Danny escape and find Miles and Nora. Charlie tells Miles that her mother is here, so they go to her, or escape together. On the way, Miles and Monroe meet. Miles kills Monroe's men, leaving only the two of them, each pointing a gun at the other. Monroe asks why Miles left him, since they were brothers and friends. Monroe lowers his weapon, says he won't hurt him, and tells him to come back. Miles lowers his weapon and tells him, "You are nothing to me." Monroe attacks him, and they fight. At this time, Aaron has rigged the whole plant with bombs. Monroe's men arrive, and Monroe orders them to kill Miles, but Miles manages to escape. Aaron blows up the gate, and they all escape together. Suddenly, Monroe's men are attacked by a fighter jet. Miles and his group escape and enter a restaurant for shelter. But the jet bombs the restaurant, thinking they are dead, so it leaves. But everyone is actually alive and well. Afterward, Monroe declares war and attacks the rebels' camps with helicopters, killing them. After a few days, Monroe's helicopters attack the rebel camp in Westchester, where Miles and his friends are. We see them preparing to resist the attack. Charlie and Danny are at the front. Suddenly, they run out of ammo, and Miles steps forward with an advanced weapon to shoot the helicopter, but it bombs him, and he falls to the ground. Danny takes the weapon from him and shoots the helicopter, and indeed it falls. But before that, the person in the helicopter shoots 3 of his friends. But suddenly, on the road, their car is bombed and overturns, and the driver dies. He gets out of the car and falls to the ground. When he looks up, he sees Charlie, Miles, and Rachel. Charlie hits him on the head with a weapon, and then they take him as a hostage. Miles refuses to kill him and leaves him alive. Later, we see Rachel going to kill Neville, but Charlie stops her and tells her, "We are at war and must obey Miles's orders." Then we see Nate, Major Neville's son, joining the rebels against Monroe's gangs. Meanwhile, Neville tricks one of the guards, kills him, and escapes from prison. News of Nate's betrayal reaches Monroe, who becomes furious and decides to take revenge on Major Neville because his son is a traitor and he didn't tell him. Now we see Charlie, Miles, and Nora, who have left America and gone to Georgia. When they arrive and enter a small cabin, they find a dead man inside and Miles's knife on the table. Miles quickly remembers his friend Alec, and we flash back 7 years after the blackout and learn that Alec was one of Miles' soldiers and the one who gave him that knife as a gift. Now we return to the present, where we see Rachel and Aaron walking in the forest, looking for a woman named Jane. As they walk, 2 people attack them and try to kill them, but suddenly those 2 people burn to ashes. Then a woman appears, and we learn that she is Jane. We see Miles as he meets Alec by chance, and they start fighting. Alec quickly steals Miles's bag and runs away. Miles and Charlie chase after him quickly, but they can't catch him. Meanwhile, the Georgia police arrest Miles. Now, let's go back to Rachel, who went home with Jane. There, Jane asked her to return the power to everyone, and she told her about Danny's death. But Rachel refused to restore the power, or left and went away. Here ends the first season. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos. Here ends the first season. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.